Earlier this morning, on September 19th of 2025 at 6:58 a.m. local time, a major earthquake struck once again just offshore of Russia's Kamchatka peninsula. And no, this video is not a repost. This just happens to be the second time a major earthquake that triggered tsunami warnings struck essentially the same spot in Russia after a similar event on September 13th. Registering in as a magnitude 7.8, it shook the ground rapidly back and forth across a land area the size of Wyoming for approximately 40 seconds. During this time span, damage was triggered to a number of concrete buildings, largely apartment blocks, with chunks of the wall falling off and large cracks forming. This primarily occurred in parts of the region's two largest cities, Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky and Yelazovo, which both experienced MMI 6 to 6.5 intensity ground motion. However, no injuries or deaths were reported, and I think this claim is accurate because I have thus far seen no catastrophic collapses or severe enough of damage to have potentially caused casualties. Yet, because this latest earthquake was both triggered by a megathrust segment rupture and occurred at about half the depth of the two other recent major earthquakes here, it had the potential to generate a destructive tsunami, possibly even larger than that generated by the July 8.8 earthquake. As a result, tsunami warnings went out to almost all of the Kamchatka peninsula, warning of up to 3-meter high waves, along with all of Hawaii and parts of the far western Aleutian Islands, warning of between 0.3 and 1 meter high waves. Yet, as the time passed, while tsunami waves did arrive unlike the September 13th quake which generated no waves, these waves were unusually small. In fact, while there is a potential that some coastal areas of Kamchatka received a half-meter high tsunami, I have been unable to confirm wave heights greater than 20 centimeters anywhere. As a result, the tsunami warnings and advisories were rescinded to all areas. Once again, the region lucked out. This is a diagram which shows how much the fault plane slipped at varying depths and locations. As you can see, the greatest ground motion totaling up to 3.8 meters or 12.5 feet occurred at notably deeper depths than the epicenter of the earthquake. Had this instead hypothetically occurred on the surface of a seafloor segment, it would have generated a tsunami wave of similar size that could then further increase in height near the coastline. While the seafloor segment depth is cut off here, the most a segment of seafloor moved was a mere 15 centimeters, hence the unusually small tsunami waves given the quake's large magnitude. It also helps that no large underwater landslides were triggered. However, on land, it is modeled that some landslides did occur along with even some liquefaction in populated areas. Regardless, today's quake was the largest aftershock to have occurred so far following the July 30th magnitude 8.8 earthquake and may have been directly triggered by the nearby 7.4 earthquake on September 13th. Remember, when the 8.8 megathrust quake struck, this was the initial statistical average aftershock forecast that was expected. And now, here's how many actually occurred in a 1-month time span. While yes, the average statistical largest aftershock following an earthquake is 1.2 magnitudes lower than the main shock, this is just an average, and sometimes the largest such aftershock is bigger than this. Looking back at the quake rupture diagram, it becomes a bit more interesting when you overlay it on the magnitude 7.4 September 13th aftershock. Yes, the reason why there is decreased slip in the lower plane segment was because it already ruptured partially 6 days prior. And, once again, this aftershock occurred in a gap of the fault plane where minimal motion during the July 30th magnitude 8.8 quake occurred. Thus, while highly speculative, it is possible and in my opinion most likely for any large magnitude 6 and 7 aftershocks in 2025 or 2026 to be centered in one of these outlying regions. For now, an increase in lesser magnitude aftershocks is briefly likely following today's event, but will quickly decrease in number as time progresses. Stay tuned for more updates. As a final note, I would like to thank my new patron Simon J. Coyle for supporting my work.